Okay, so for competency number 3, which is using response to intervention approaches, design and implement non-discriminatory pre-referral strategies and activities to assess and support students who do not progress at the same rate as their peers. I created two artifacts here. On the left, we have an infographic that kind of shows the model of response to intervention, the pyramid model. And over here, I created a Prezi, which outlines what response to intervention is. It goes into more detail about how it works. So before I took this class, I really had no idea what response to intervention was. And I remember in high school hearing about the PBIS, which is the positive behavior sort of the response to intervention for the behavioral problems model, which is, it uses the same pyramid form. And so when I was thinking about, how I would use response to intervention in a music classroom, I realized that it would be pretty easy to do if I taught elementary general music. Obviously I would start instruction with a large group, and music doesn't come naturally to everyone. So of course there would be students who would fall into the tier 2 category that I would, monitor more closely, maybe catch them up, depending on how much time I would have in a week. And I realized that, in the normal elementary schedule, music teachers usually only see kids maybe once or twice a week for 40 minutes. And that's really difficult to expect time for these interventions. But I would definitely try my best. If I could see that students were struggling, I would try to design my lessons so that everyone could stay in tier 1. But of course, I would try my best to plan for those other interventions. And in elementary school, tier 3 level would probably be something that I would leave to the special education teacher, unless I could meet with a student one-on-one outside of class time. And so in terms of high school instruction, I would imagine in my large ensemble like band or orchestra, I would have students for private lessons once a week for, a half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that. And those can sometimes be in small group settings. When I was in high school, our band director had small group lessons, so clarinets would be split into lesson groups, and each lesson group would go a certain time on any given day in that week. So there was definitely opportunity for tier 2 instruction, which is small group, and then he always made time for tier 3 individual one-on-one with a student. Very intense instruction, private lesson, really focusing in on what the students had problems with and isolating them so that they could be successful in the ensemble. And I think that's really important when it comes to music, because mastery of an instrument is something that takes a very long time. And it could take a student's entire secondary career to be really proficient on an instrument. And it's not going to happen in tier 1. You really get to know your instrument by that individual one-on-one instruction. So adapting the response to intervention model for music is a little bit different. but it's very helpful in my, future plans for becoming a music teacher.